Good morning. I really would like to start with a disclaimer that I'm not an MD. My latest exposure to natural sciences was a high school class in chemistry, and it was a long time ago. So why I'm here? Because last year I was here for this same meeting, and I realized that what I was hearing here had a lot of connection to what I do with organizations worldwide. And my field is to change organizations. I have developed over 40 years a methodology how to rejuvenate bureaucracies or how to provide sustainable growth to organizations. And then I realized that there is apparently a unified theory. Many of the things that I do with organizations apparently have some connection to what we do with people, and what happens with people has effect on organizations. So Dr. Goldman here took the chance to present me, and maybe there will be some insights that you can get from my work that can impact your work. So here we are. And here is what I found out. The goals of this presentation, as I said, is to see whether there is any commonality, whether we can learn from each other. And my hope is that some of you might get some insights out of it, and as a result of it, we might be communicating with each other, and I'm inviting you to write to me if you have any insights that can help you or help me, or we can cross boundaries. Here is what I found out. Not only living systems have a life cycle. Astronomers talk about old stars or young stars. We talk about young rocks and old rocks. Apparently, everything has a life cycle. And I found out over 40 years of my experience that organizations have a life cycle. They are born, grow, age, and die. And now let me cover it very fast. The first stage is before organization exists. That's where energy gets together. And there is a lot of energy, and the founder of the company is dreaming about something that he's going to establish or she's going to establish. And there is a lot of energy getting concentrated at this stage. There is a lot of dreaming. Then the organization is born when risk is taken. Somebody says, I'm dropping my job, I'm going to start something, it is the first $5,000, I'm taking the risk and plunging in to start a company. That's an infant organization. Characteristics of an infant organization is a lot of noise, a lot of work, no time to dream, now is the time to do. And then the system stabilizes, like a baby that finally starts sleeping all night long. And now is the time when it opens its eyes, and you have to actually make the house safe from the baby, because it jumps from everywhere, opens every drawer, and everything looks interesting. Same thing with the company. It starts growing leaps and bounds in many directions, like a bush in the spring, goes in very fast. And then it gets into trouble. And that's the stage when it's time to decide not what to do, but what not to do. And we start developing form. An organization gets separated from the founder and develops its own life. This is adolescent stage, like a child starting separating from the family. Very difficult time here. And eventually, the organization gets to prime, which means form and function are united. We have a direction, and at the same time, we are in control of what we do rather than being out of control of what we do. Thereafter starts the aging process of an organization, and we'll talk about it, what causes it, and how to rejuvenate an organization. And the interesting point is here is, many people ask me, why is Prime here and not here? Why is Prime still here? It sounds like intuitively the best is at the top of the mountain, right? And the answer is no, it's not true, because when you are here, there's only one way, down. Here you are still growing. What is it that it's growing? What is on the vertical axis? It's the vitality of the organization. The organization is still having vitality, and it's still growing After that, it starts losing vitality, it's going down. So we have really the following one. If you look at it, from here to here, the organization is growing. From here to here, it is aging. After that, ladies and gentlemen, it's dying. And I differentiate between dying and aging. These are two different things. Now, how do we know whether the organization is growing, dying, or aging? And what I found out is that by the time the organization starts dying here and it's showing in its financial statements, it's already too late. In other words, the organization is already sick. When you show that, it's like the urinary test probably. By the time you show that the person is sick in the urinary test, he's already sick. The trick is to find it ahead of time, before it shows in the blood, before it shows in the urinary test, before it shows in the financial statements of the company. So how do I know? And what I found out is that the aging of an organization does not start in the financial statement, doesn't start in the body in a sense. It starts in the culture. There is a major difference between the culture of the organization in the growing stage and in the aging and dying stage. Something happens here in the culture of the organization, and let me show you what it is. In a growing organization, everything is permitted unless specifically forbidden. In an aging organization, everything is forbidden unless permitted. And when I look, if you allow me to make the transition to your field, and I admit ignorance to start with, what I'm daring to say is when I'm young, everything is permitted to eat unless specifically forbidden. When I start aging, everything is forbidden unless specifically permitted. That's called a diet. There is a major switch from here to here in the culture of the organization. Here, if you look, analogy, management is the mind and organization is the body. Management is in control of the organization. Management feels omnipotent. Here, management is scared of the organization. It listens to the organization. What can I do? What I cannot do? He starts watching conflicts which are internal and is afraid of himself. In a growing, function is more important than form. Here, form takes precedence over function. In a growing situation, the organization is building momentum. Here, it is relying on inertia. In other words, there is a change in the culture of the organization. The organizational mind, I might call it, might be changing. So the aging process starts here, between our ears. Later on, it gets expressed in our body.